Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So, internet issues this morning. So, we're running a little bit behind, but we're going to take that time back and make sure you get all of the time that you deserve. Good morning. I am Jackie Glass, mama, Navy vet, certified doer, just like you, getting up this morning, and the lace up legislator for the House of Delegates 89th District, candidate for the 93rd District. Good morning. Good morning. I'm waving to you guys over here on Instagram. Nolan and Elizabeth. So we got a jam-packed sort of agenda today and things to go through. Just remember, if you have, this is your time. This is your time. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything, drop them in the comments. If you have an event or anything coming up, feel free. This is your opportunity. Good morning on Facebook as well, LinkedIn and X. I still have a hard time saying that. I don't know if you guys do. I'm not on there much, as well as YouTube. But I want to thank you guys for your presence today. We are in the mix, like it is real. So let's roll through this. I'm going to start really, if you've been paying attention to anything over the past several days, I think your news might be inundated with all the things happening in Israel and with Hamas. And I know that for many, it can be really complicated. While as a state legislator, there's no direct action that we can take other than advocacy. I wanted to give just a very tiny synopsis because I know we have a very large Jewish population in our district, and many people across the Commonwealth have families and spaces and places. And what I think happens is these big things happen on the news, and then we're all trying to figure out what it is or how it is, and how to interface with what is happening. So I wanted to give a very tiny synopsis, and then I want to talk about our campaign and how we're moving forward. So I'm going to break that down, give you guys the skinny on like what our campaign is doing, because I know we're doing things a little bit different, and that is a privilege. I'll acknowledge that it is a privilege to be able to do things a little bit differently. But I want to break that down for you and then give you some go-dos, right? Because this is about the morning dew, some things that you can actually do. Y'all ready? 3 parts. Let's get to it. So this is like a tiny breakdown. So the Israel-Palestinian conflict, it is a deep-rooted, complex issue that has caused immense suffering for both Israelis and Palestinian civilians. We saw a couple bills last year where I saw the testimony, and it was like heart-wrenching. A lot of hurt and pain on both sides of the issue for innocent people, and that we got to remember that it's not just about a clash of religious ideology. It's about 2 groups of people who claim the same land as their own. And so there's a historical background of the conflict that includes the end of the Ottoman Empire, the Balfour Declaration, the nation's decision to partition, the British mandated Palestine, so these background events set the stage for this sort of volatile and protracted struggle that we see. And so, despite numerous attempts at peace, the conflict has continued, and extremist groups, and you probably heard this word quite a bit, like Hamas, have played a very significant role. So their presence and the presence of Israeli settlers in Palestine territories, and the construction of these of security walls that have further complicated the entire situation. And there's been long periods of violence, including infantadas, the 6-day war, ongoing tensions. And despite people's efforts to broker peace, both sides have faced like really strenuous challenges in maintaining their Americans on the outside, that the ultimate goal is always has been, I think for us, always will be the safety and well-being and the dignity of the civilians affected by the conflict. And so while I will always strongly oppose terrorism and genocide because I don't think they have a place in this world, I recognize the U.S. and Israeli relationship is really important to our security too, and that we have to prioritize these solutions and the rights of everyone involved, and I personally value. If you've reached out to me, I value your advocacy. I value your feedback. Constituents have been the best part of being able to see a more full Commonwealth. And I thank you for that. And I hope that as this continues, that we're able to take steps forward where there's a future, at least if in the eyes of what the United States does, where there's a future where Israelis and Palestinians can live peacefully and with prosperity, while firmly rejecting the whole violence and extremism. Okay, so that's just a little bit of breakdown of that. And if you all have folks out there, again, it's I know that it's not an easy bet, but I'm grateful for your advocacy. Always will be. Always will be. All right, so we're shifting over to how we about to do this. We got an election, y'all. We got an election. All right, so it is an honor to embark on this journey towards a more dedicated. It is an honor to embark on a journey where we have a more dedicated and transparent legislator. And, you know, as your delegate, I am always trying to do the ABCs of governance. And that's A, accountability, B, boldness, C is coalition building. And I know that in Norfolk, we are fortunate. I'm super fortunate to live in a heavily Democratic district that allows us to sort of focus on the real work without being caught up in really any petty political games. We don't have to get that. We don't really have to do that other than our just little nuances that we have within our government. And I want you to know that my commitment, my whole commitment, it remains with serving. It does. That's where my head is. I have to remind myself that is my commitment. Y'all, I'm going to have to pause for a second when the spouse calls. Yes, sir. I'm on my live. Okay. So that happens too. We have a rule. If I call back to back, you better answer because it might be an emergency. So you might wonder why or what our campaign is doing differently. And I'd love to give you guys some insight on what it looks like to have a whole campaign here in the Commonwealth. I'm going to show you all, and I know for you all on Instagram, you're going to have to follow along with me on this because I'm going to take you to VPAP where you can see the numbers and see why we're talking about these sorts of things. So we are putting people first. And I know that may sound like, this is what people always say. We are. So instead of, we have not fixed our mind on excessive spending of funds on traditional campaigning. We have opted for a more efficient approach to how we do the business here. We are reusing our yard signs. That is not unusual. Many people do that. We are probably using one direct mail piece. We'll be using text messages, robocalls, and focusing on our digital ads and in-person events. So I need y'all to stay abreast of the in-person things that we're doing because that's going to give you a really good snapshot into the work that we're doing for you. I've capped our campaign budget at $17,640. And if you know what that number is, drop it in the comments. What is that number? That number is very significant. $17,640. Do you know what that is? I'm giving a second to pause to see if anybody know what that number is. If you're a certified doer, you know this number. What is that? $17,640. It's an odd number to cap your spending off at, but it is a real number that I think many people need to get familiar with. And I'll wait, see if in the comments anybody wants to take a guess. I know some of y'all out there might be guessing. Somebody gonna drop it in the comments today. Somebody know. Somebody know. Well, that number, $17,640, is the equivalent pay to my yearly salary as a delegate, right? $17,640. So I've capped my campaign budget at that number. I'm going to spend a year's worth of my salary for my campaign. Any additional funds raised will be invested in hiring more staff. As I told you, we're funded to be an opportunity, not necessarily a solution, and acquiring the tools that are necessary to serve you better. We have built some infrastructure things that I'm going to show you the new website that just launched, and I will get a chance to look over there. Because we believe that public service should take precedence over the expensive reelection campaign. It is hard, but remember, I'm going to say this, I am privileged. I am privileged with time and just being in a district, the type of district that we are, I'm privileged to be able to do this. This is not usual. So as your delegate, I genuinely am here to work for you. I understand that this is a part-time job and the problems are full-time. It is super, super, super essential that we allocate our resources wisely. So over the next less than 30 days, we'll be releasing these comprehensive sort of position papers outlining our legislative approach for the 2024 session, which starts on January 10th. I'm going to say that again, January 10th, the 2024 session starts. We'll be hosting town hall meetings, sharing our vision for the state legislator and the political system that empowers elected officials to serve more effectively. So peep game, right? Competitive House districts. How much, I ask you guys to put in the comments, how much do you think a competitive House district costs? How much do you think it costs? If I was in a super competitive district where I had to spend the majority of my time on the phone with donors getting money, how much do you think that costs? You can drop a number, any number in the comments. What you think? I'd love to hear your numbers. What do you think? A competitive House district. Looking for numbers here. I know some of you guys are going to come back to this and drop that number in there. Some of you may be close or not so close. A competitive House race can cost over $2 million. Do you hear me? You're that right. A competitive House race can cost over $2 million, yet the state allocates less than $70,000 for us to hire a legislative team in the House. And when I look at this disparity, I see something that has to change. Our government continues to expand. It continues to expand, right? Campaigns continue to become more costly, but the resources for fulfilling our duties remain stagnant. And so I invite you all to be a part of this movement. Actually, before I do my invitation in, I want to show you all something that I use quite often. And again, if you're on Instagram, it's going to be a little bit different for you, just a little bit different for you. You won't have to listen to me walk through this, but I'm going to walk through step by step. Again, I'm going back to the fact that, again, I'm saying this $2 million for a competitive race. We get $70,000 to hire a legislative team. There is a huge disparity that has to change. So I'm going to share with you VPAP, right? VPAP.org. And for you all on Instagram, VPAP for everyone, it's Virginia Public Access Project, VPAP, VPAP.org, O-R-G, right? On VPAP, what you can do is you are able to come here and see all of the things. So I'm going to go into looking into the money that goes into these races, right? So VPAP, for you just joined, it's VPAP. We're going through this $20 million $2 million to run a race, $70,000 to hire staff. That is a wicked, wicked disparity. Here's what we're doing. I'm going to VPAP, and on the page, the VPAP page, you'll see at the top, there's 3 little lines. That's a menu. I'm doing this breakdown so the folks that can't see, and I'm going to scroll down to money. I'm just going to click on money, right? Just so that I can see. And it's like, all right, here's the money in Virginia elections. What I am most concerned with, because I am a member of the House of Delegates, I'm going to go to House of Delegates, right? And it's showing me all of these general elections, how much people spent, how many votes were cast, all of that, right? But let's just go to, let's say, the most money raised in the Commonwealth, right? Most money raised, we're going to go to, where's this? This is the most recent election cycle. So 2022, 2023 election cycle. The top fundraiser, and it's because he's working his butt off. He's working his, off, is Don Scott thus far. That is as of August 31st, 2023. We have reporting filing deadlines where we have to continue to report money as it comes in for transparency's sake. So you'll see that we have a deadline. I think our next report has to be submitted by Monday. I think it's Monday. But we submit these reports, all of this information gets updated, and you get to see who's giving us money, how we're spending our money, and all these different things. That's another thing for another day. But this is the top spenders, right? The top fundraisers: $1.7 million, $1.2 million, $1.1 million, $1.1 million, not like six and seven figures being raised. Now let's look at you raising that money, because what I know is that if I know Don Scott, like, he is raising as the leader, but he's giving a lot as a leader. That is that's part of that role of trying to get the majority back. How much cash on hand though, right? So as he's getting it, a lot of that money is gone. A lot of the money is gone. But you see, our top cash on hand is Barry Knight, who's a Virginia Beach delegate with about $1 million on hand, right? So like, do you hear? Do you see? We could even go to like spending, right? We can go to general elections. This is coming up, and this is not here yet, but this is important because it can tell you where is money going. So I'm going to go to, or who's giving money and how that's happening. Let's go to political ads. Remember, I said it's getting more expensive. So those of you guys who just joined us, I'm on vpap.org explaining some things here. So let's just go to the most expensive race in our district, right? Let's see, where do we have? Maybe in Hampton Roads, in let's say in Norfolk, because that's where I am. The most expensive race has cost over $120,000, right? Actually, where is this? Oh, no, that's not. That's Senate District 4. Hold on a second. We're going to go back. Going back to, didn't take us. There he is. We're going to this race, right? This race right here in Norfolk, up in the Ocean View, all the way across to East Ocean View, Bayview, the northern parts of Norfolk. Over $97,000 has been spent on just political ads, right? Just political ads. Imagine that. See what I'm saying? That's a lot. Cumulative spending. And the folks over here, it just keeps going up and up and up, right? Campaigns are expensive. So I'm going to come back here and I'm going to say to you guys, the reason why I say this is because there is a need for some change. And I invite you all to be a part of this movement to help us champion more efficient ways, more people a focused political system. We are not going to be able to do this on our own, but know that the little bit that we do, right? As I said, I'm going to spend a year's worth of salary. That is it, $17,640. I have a privilege to do that. But we are expanding our team. And so that's why we're asking for your contributions to go towards to make sure that our district has the representation that it deserves. And so in the coming weeks, we'll be sharing more about the campaign, more about the events that we're hoping, where you can join us, how you can ask questions, how you can engage in more meaningful discussions about the future of Norfolk and, quite frankly, the future of the Commonwealth of Virginia. So how we do this, right? So you can go to, I'm going to actually share our new website for those of you on Instagram. I know you can't see it, but delegatejackieglass.com. I'm going to share the website so that you can see the updated one, and it'll show you our priorities. Goodbye. Have a good day. Make it a great day. It'll show you our priorities, what we're most concerned with. I'm going to share this sir, we start by saying let certified doers lead the way. So if you want to check out the website, it's been updated a bit, delegatejackyglass.com. We'll walk through because we're here working for the people of Virginia and not for the status quo. And I know how they go. You will still be able to get services. If you're a constituent in the 89th district, there's a spot for you. So if you're a constituent and you still need support, we ain't leaving you behind. We're not doing that. So you can still get constituent services. There's a link on there. If you're looking at us and we're in the 93rd district, that's our reelection campaign. We have the map on there to show you the difference between the two districts. So if you're wondering, like, how did this shift, Jackie? How did you end up from here to here? That information is there. You can always check out the redistricting webinar that we did. It should still be up on Facebook, actually on our YouTube channel. Good morning, Aunt. Good morning. We talk about why we do, what we do, where we focus, how we do it. Right? We have our 6 C's, and this is something I will be unveiling very clearly to you all, you guys, so that you know where we're putting our efforts. Do not hesitate to reach out. I say this because I know sometimes people are like, I don't know, Jackie, you busy? Yes, I'm always productive, but we make time. So, and there's that piece. So what I will do, lastly, is go through visit the website, join us on the bids, contribute if you can, put us in your budget. Put us in your budget, $5 a month, $10 a month, $50 a month. Just put us in your budget. We are I'm scaling. I'm genuinely scaling to do business better for you, because I think that we can work together to make a government that truly serves us as people. And Norfolk is a very unique place where if we get enough of us, we can see change. If we get enough of us doing the things, we can see change and express gratitude. So some dates for your calendar. And if you have events coming up, go ahead and drop them in the comments so that I can have a gander and maybe share the events that you all have coming up. Please put them in the comments. If you got something, drop it. January 10th, 2023 is when session starts. I will be going up to Richmond and be working in Richmond Monday through Friday on January 10th, all the way until March 9th. I try to make it back on the weekends and preserve that so that I can be a whole mom and a whole wife and a whole daughter and a whole present. But we will be up in Richmond. While we're up in Richmond, if you are creative, right? If you are creative, we are having oops, I meant to stop sharing this. If you are creative, we are having creatives on the Capitol Day. Mark your calendars. Creatives on the Capitol Day will be January 23rd. Y'all heard that? Creatives on the Capitol. It was dope last year. It's going to be even better this year. Creatives on the Capitol Day, January 23rd. Certified Doer Day. That means we're gonna paint the Capitol yellow because doer gets more done, right? So Certified Doer Day is going to be March 6th. Prior to that, if you have anyone that you think is doing out freaking standing work in the community, that an organization, a place, a person, I can't think of all the things, but if you feel like, please nominate people. We want to commend the amazing work that's happening in our city. So if you got some commending if you got some people that you want to commend, holla at your girl, we'll get it in. But I need that. I'm looking to have all our commending resolutions by December 1st. So be on the lookout. If you lost a loved one or someone close to you and you would like us to memorialize them in the Commonwealth, again, by December 1st, I would love to have to be able to memorialize your loved one, your coworker, your whomever that is that you like. If somebody's having a 100-year birthday, we can do that too. 50-year wedding, we can do that too. So that's the work that we do. Lastly, I'm going to check my calendar for this other event. However, we are still looking for poll greeters. If you've never been a poll greeter on election day, now is the time. Let's get it. Come work with the certified doers. All y'all got to do is go to delegatejackyglass.com, hit the join the certified doers folks, and just say I want to be a poll greeter. Put your name, or you'll have to put your name and your email address in there, and then we're going to get at you because we'll be doing training for poll greeters in the next 2 weeks. So if you have a specific community that you're yeah, I want to be there, because it's an opportunity, not only if you work the poll that you would If you greet at the poll that you would normally vote at, you get to meet people that are in your neighborhood. It's just a good time, even when it's cold. It's just a good time. And global warming got us real warm in October, so I'm hoping for a warm election day. Making sure, so sign up. That's my ask, is to sign up. Lastly, mark your calendar, October 21st. There are two things happening October 21st. Do you hear me? Two things happening October 21st. Two. Yes, we will cue the music. And I heard Elizabeth say, cue the music. This is how we do it, because this is how we do it. This is how we get it done. On October 21st, we will be having a joint canvas launch. If you have never canvassed, some of y'all have not been participatory because you ain't had a reason. Well, let me give you a reason. It's just an amazing time. Have you ever knocked doors? Beautiful, amazing, lovely, right? So I'm inviting you all to a joint canvas launch on October 21st from 10 to 12. If you would like to be a part of that, you can DM me, or you can go to the website and join the Certified Doers and fill it out there. You can just direct message me. It's fine. I want as many people out there as possible. We're going to knock some doors and remind people that it's an election coming up and that they need to get out and vote. So that's number one, October 21st. Also on October 21st, this has not happened in our community in a very long time. Fleet Fest is coming back. You hear me? Fleet Fest. If you don't know what it is, okay, it's okay, because it's a dope event. Fleet Fest happens on Naval Station, Norfolk. It's one time where the community gets to come on base and see all the things. They're going to have the world's largest bounce house there at Naval Station, Norfolk. What else is going to be there? If you've never been on an aircraft carrier or a naval ship, this is your opportunity. This is an all ages, all family event. You can go onto, I think they'll have an aircraft carrier, an amphib, as well as some Coast Guard ships, where if you or your family want to go and go on board the ship, be bouncing the world's largest bounce house, DJs, food, all the things. Fleet Fest. It's from 8 to, I believe, 7 p.m. But if you just type in Fleet Fest, all the details are there online. It's a real good opportunity. I'm checking the chat to see if anybody had any events or anything else that they have coming up that you want to share, that you feel like we need to be in the know about. Please don't hesitate to drop them in the comments. We are 24 days away from election day. So this is really just the grind. Let's get it. We're making sure we got all the things. Oh, so I will be addressing, hopefully I'll have something. I'm waiting on some answers. Some of the top 3 things that we've been hearing about 911, water bills, and schools. We've reached out to do some things, so know that we're trying to address, figure out how we can work with our locality to be an asset in addressing some of the issues that y'all are seeing. Okay. All right. If there is nothing else for the good of the order, this has been the morning dew for Certified Doers just like you. I'm Jackie Glass, mama, Navy vet, certified doer, in the laced up legislator for the House of Delegates, 89th District, running for the 93rd, y'all. I hope to see y'all on the streets. If you want a yard sign too, hit us up. Okay. All right. Be well. Bye. Make it a great day. I guess I should have said that. Make it a great day.